Welcome to the Easy Sports Talk Show. I am one of your co-hosts. I am Javon J. Love Adams, and with me is a man who played professional baseball and also played in the National Football League for that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm talking about my brother, Ed Easy Smith. What is good, my brother? And folks who are watching on YouTube, you don't even know. I'm a dark brother, but man, I got some light. Shout out to Mark Twain Beal from that is not payola. That's just showing love. So what's good, my brother Ed?
Hey, happy day after Halloween. Can you believe it's already November, bruh? I mean, the Thanksgiving and the Christmas push are going to be put on us now. It's time.
I know. And happy birthday to my oldest son, Kendrick.
Happy
He is
birthday, Kendrick.
22 today. Yeah, happy birthday, man. So he's on that East Coast. So I loved calling him. Well, my wife, I think, Elijah called him and said happy birthday at midnight his time. And so he got some of his gifts and all that good stuff. But yeah, so happy birthday to Kendrick. But all right. We got a good show lined up for you. We had a couple of days off, but man, there's drama afoot. There's drama afoot, and the only person I know who likes drama is my man Ed. Ed loves drama. But so let's get into a few things. One is the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, they evened up the series. They three in a row at home. So games 3, 4, and 5. There was so much excitement in the building. Game 3, games 3 and 4, Diamondbacks come up short, especially game 4. They were down 10-0 at one point in time. The pitching has really kind of let them down. Then the game ended. They tried to make a push. They made it 11-7, but now they're on the precipice of losing. So I'm sure share your thoughts about how do you think that whether they'll win game 5 or not. But the biggest question is, and there's a gentleman that we both know who reaches out to you more often than me. He hit me up and he asked me, if the Diamondbacks lose this series, will the fans look at it as a disappointing season, or will they be happy that they achieved more than was thought possible at the beginning of the season?
Well, before I hit on that, let me talk. The Diamondbacks shot themselves in the foot. Obviously they had to split over in Texas, come back home, and one of the biggest base running blunders with Walker, with
game 3,
led off with a double.
Yeah.
There's a single to right. He runs, he blows through a stop sign, gets thrown out at home plate, and then they don't end up scoring in that inning because you go from having first and third, nobody out, rally time, rally hats on, to man thrown out at home plate, makes the first out. Then you got a man on first and you don't score in the inning. Then the Rangers come back the following inning and put 2 on the board or whatever it is. Total shifter, momentum killer, you name it, everything. People will look at that like it was just such a small play.
No.
The problem is you have no idea what that inning could have been for you.
Because they got out of it with 1 run, but it could have just opened things up.
Could have opened up the floodgates. You got guys on the bases. You start stealing. You never know where that could have went. Huge momentum killer, and you end up losing that game. And then you come back yesterday, and I hate the bullpen pitching. I hate that with a passion, bro. Nobody can get in a rhythm. You got, okay, this guy's going to face 3 batters, and he's going to come out in the second, and we're going to come out and get him after he gets an out. And then the whole game is just so choppy.
Yeah.
Jay, 162 games, right? And you have a 5-man rotation. Why all of a sudden we get to the playoffs and everything's got to be different? We don't trust a third pitcher in our rotation to go out there and get us 5 innings, 4, 5, 6 innings. It just, to me, it's so out of character. You wouldn't do that during the regular season. Why do we get to the most important games of the year? Then all of a sudden we want to change things up. So those are my thoughts. And then that just blew it. Like I said, you got guys out there, starting games, throwing three hitters. This guy comes out for 2 hitters. You end up losing the game. We got pounded. We made a run at the end, final score 11-7. But when you're up 10-0, come on, okay? So that, for me, those 2 instances, in my mind, those blew the series for us. If we come back, make an amazing comeback, okay, you got to win 3 in a row now, 2 in their home. If we come back, it'll be one of the biggest comebacks in the sport. Okay, we'll see what happens.
But real quick, when I saw that because Scherzer goes out, in Game 4, and or Game 3, sorry, Game 3. Scherzer goes out, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we got a chance. But then again, because it's so choppy, because you're not getting used to any pitcher with being able to see him with what the Rangers did. But what was interesting to me is that Garcia goes out because in the game, and he's out for the rest of the series, no matter what. And I thought that was an opportunity for the pitchers to maybe breathe a little bit, but still, it didn't end up coming to fruition.
In my opinion, you got to trust your pitchers. You got starters for a reason. Let somebody come out there, try to get into a rhythm, get some outs for you, and then you get to the 5th or 6th inning, then you go bullpen. But to start out with, our philosophy is we're going to just throw a different pitcher basically every inning. Just it blows my mind. And whether that's analytics or Torrey, you know how much I love Torrey. If it's his decision, bad decision. If it's analytics, and that's what they tell you have to do, because we know sometimes they take the pen out of the manager's hand, and this is what we're going to do. If analytics lost you a World Series, then shame on you. So as far as the season, though, Jay, I mean, we were not supposed to be here in the first place. The only reason we can be disappointed is because we got this far and then didn't win it all. For me, when I was with the Falcons in '98, was it a disappointment because we got to the Super Bowl and lost? Hell no. I got a ring. I got, I played in, one of 52, 3, whatever many Super Bowls there had been. Yeah, sure, it was a huge disappointment because we got there and we were that close and then we lost. But I guarantee you, at the beginning of the season, if you ask any fan, you're going to win 84 games, squeak into the playoffs, run through the playoffs, get to the World Series, and lose. Would you take that? I guarantee you every single fan would. Yeah. Especially now, there are certain organizations like the Dodgers. If you told the Dodgers that, they'd be like, hell no. We're supposed to be winning World Series. And anything Braves, that you think no. But for the Diamondbacks, with our expectations at the beginning of the year and what we accomplished, this has been a successful season. That's the only way you can look at it.
Look, and what I want is for us 3 years from now, we'll be in a big studio. I'm speaking into existence. We'll be in a studio. We'll have all these lights on us and all this stuff. We'll be doing the podcast, sitting on couches and stuff. And we'll be talking about the expectations have raised. Now we expect to be in the World Series, and that's different. So you want to get to that point, but I am 100% on the same page with you, is that this should be looked at as a success. I mean, talk about, I know I'm bleeding kind of some biblical things in here, but talk about exceedingly abundantly. You got all that you could ask for and more for this season. We would love to end it with the World Championship, to be able to hoist that trophy. But goodness gracious, you have to be ecstatic as a fan base. And I hope that this carries over to next season, and not just that season opener weekend where, of course, it's packed out, but it's not a bad thing to be on a bandwagon or to hop on a bandwagon. I heard Dan Bickley say this a couple of weeks ago, and I really agree with this, but it's those people that hop on the bandwagon because you're winning and then you lose a couple games and then they hop back off. If you're on it, just stay on, just jump on and stay on and support this team, because that support means more than you know.
And the beautiful thing is, Jay, we're talking like there's no hope. There's still hope. They're down 3-1. They can pull this off. They've won. They went to Philly and took 2 from Philly over there. We got to get tonight's game, obviously, and then you got to go get 2 in Texas. So, I mean, there's a chance. You watch those things. There's a 98% chance that then there's also a 2% chance on the other side. So
there's something about living. There's something about living life that if you go, you went through it, I'm sure, when you were playing baseball, is that you go through a slump and then you get out of it, and next thing you know, you're raking again, and then you start to go through another slump, and you can look back and say, I went through that slump before. I know I can get through it, and this is how I got through it last time, so I can get through it, and that so we can draw on that experience that you've had.
And also, we know baseball is the craziest game in baseball and hockey are the 2 sports that when teams are down, it's like, man, until that last whistle or until that last out, you never know what could happen. We could come out tonight and jump on them 7-0, just like they did us, and then we cruise to victory. Then it's like, well, Texas, they just got to go home and get one. Man, the ball bounces so crazy and the puck bounces so crazy, anything can happen. So that's why until it's over, I mean, it's despair because, we should have got at least one of these two. And because of the errors that I talked about, in my opinion, the base running error killed us. Then the pitching decision in game 4, don't agree with that. Because of those two things, those stick out in my mind. But anything can happen, bro. They still gotta close us out. The toughest game to win are the closeout games. I'll tell you that because I've been there before. Those and there's tension on both sides, not just the team that's down, the team that's up. They feel a little bit too because they start to press a little bit too because they got to get this one. They don't want to have to go back and play in Texas. They'd rather finish this thing out because you never know what can happen once you get back there.
All right, Easy Sports Talk Show. He's Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. All right, we're gonna keep this on a local focus, even though the Diamondbacks are a national focus. And this team I'm about to talk about next is a national focus as well, based upon the expectations. The Suns lost to the Spurs. They lost a 20-point lead. I was watching some of that game. I told you before we started, my Achilles was giving me all kinds of problems. I just went to sleep, man. I was icing and doing Tim's machines and all that stuff on it. And so I just went to sleep because I saw that they were up. They were going to the fourth quarter. They were up by 14. Man, they ended up losing this game. They lost the game to the Spurs. So the Suns are now 2-2. Now I want to zoom out a little bit. What did I say? What did I say? And I know you mentioned this as well, but I know when we got Bradley Beal, I said, that's cool. He's a good player, but look at what the sample size, the recency of the last couple of seasons. He doesn't play full seasons. He is injury prone. That's just, there's no other way to look at it. So far, 4 games in, no games played by Bradley Beal. Then my man, Devin Booker, the last 2 games he has missed, and he's the last 2 games he has missed. Is this just one of those, hey, it's early in the season where they try to say it's early, or is this is one of those things where I think that it doesn't necessarily bode well maybe for the chemistry of this team, because you got to get chemistry by playing together, not practice, but playing in game situations.
Bro, we are in the first portion of 82, and these guys are already nursing stuff and missing games. In my opinion, and you might agree with me, this is just more to come. So, to you're supposed to be missing games, okay, in December because of some tweaks and stuff like that. Not in October, fresh out the gate. When did you hurt yourself? Nobody's playing in these preseason games. And you had all off season to heal anything that might have been hurting, and then you don't even start the season. And now, not just one of them, but Booker. And then at some point, Katie's going to hurt because what's going to happen. Those two are going to nurse what they're nursing. They'll get back in eventually. Katie will tweak something in December. He'll be out for 8 weeks or whatever, 4 weeks or whatever it is. And it'll just be a rotation of who's down, who's up. All through the season. Then at the end of the year, it'll be like, well, these guys never really got their chemistry, but we'll see because, now it's the playoffs. And, man, I'm telling you,
that light switch thing, that's a dangerous game to play.
I would not, this is going to be a long season of cross your fingers and let's see who's healthy, who's ready to play. And here's the thing, Jay, even without those 2 down, you're not supposed to be losing to the Spurs. I've seen the Spurs, and I know they have Wembanyama, but the oldest dude on their team is 25 years old on their starting unit. Yeah. And, I've watched them a little bit, and it's like, that's a fun little team that, Pop is going to eventually get them to playing well. But, even with just KD himself and the group, you're thinking, and you were up 20, and you lose this game, and that to me is just a bad sign, a bad look. These super teams, man, these teams they put together and all the expectations. What do we always say about expectations, Jay? That everybody gets heightened because, hey, they've been talking about it since the trade, and this team's going to be number 1 in the West. And okay, we'll see.
Yeah, and I stand corrected. Booker has played just the 1 game. He played that season opening game, so he's missed the last 3. Yeah. And one of the things that is – I was impressed by the role players. So Grayson Allen, he played well. Watanabe, he played well. Nurkic, He played well as well in addition to those other two players. But Gordon had 20 plus points in the game. But again, that's my concern, man, because and I say this, and I said this on our radio show before we went national. I said this about Devin Booker. Yeah, I think he's a number one, but if he goes through another stretch of being injured, he goes from that's just a nick to now being injury prone. And that's just the way it is. If you look at, again, the same way that I look at Bradley Beal, the same way that I look at Devin Booker in that regard. And it's not just to say that he's not dedicated and motivated, but sometimes it's just the DNA that you have that you got to deal with.
And we got three main pieces that have a history of injury, and not just little ones, Jay. When Booker goes down, when KD goes down, they don't just go down; they go down. Because when we're talking hamstrings and this and that, and you just, you cross your fingers. It's like, please, let's, and I guess would you rather have them hurt early or late? So maybe they get it out of the way early this year, and then after the new year kicks in, they start getting some time to get chemistry and stuff like that. But I don't have any faith myself personally in like these three guys getting a whole chunk of games in together. There are going to be spots where we're going to be missing pieces all the way through the year. And then once again, like I said, it'll be when we get around playoff time, how much have they had a chance to play together, and can they pull it together, to win a title? I don't know.
Indeed. All right. So Easy Sports Talk Show. Let's get into man,
your team
drama, man, drama. So I go to sleep last night. I wake up this morning to an update that McDaniels and our GM, because when I say our GM, I'm a Raiders fan, have been fired. They've been let go. And how many? Now you might be able to pull this up faster than me, but this is his third season, because he had 2 seasons with my man that's on with former quarterback that's now on the Saints. You know what I'm talking about.
Derek Carr.
Yeah, with Carr. And then he decided this season, we about to do it my way, right? And the whole time coming in is about to do it. I want your thoughts on it, but here's what I equate this to. And I was saying this to my son Elijah when I was dropping him off at football practice this morning. Isn't it, if you're turning over, and I'm just not saying the Raiders, but any organization, every 2 or 3 years, if you're turning it over, it's almost like you have this new house. You gut the house and you bring in an interior designer or somebody to be able to make your house beautiful. And so let's say after the first month, you fire them. And then you bring somebody else in. And they say, well, I don't like what this other dude did. I got to do it my way. And then they spend the first month tearing down what they did. And then the second month they start putting their stuff in and you say, I don't like that either. So you fire them. Then another guy comes in and they got to tear it down and it becomes this crazy cycle. Is that kind of what it's like? And then also, what is your thought on the Raiders with this? Because I didn't like the McDaniels hiring in the first place, man.
Well, let me handle McDaniels first. Every good coordinator is not meant to be a head coach. Mm-hmm. Just because you do your job well on that side of the ball and everybody puts the genius tag on you. What we always say, Jay, when you take over as a head coach, you're now the CEO of everything. It's not just the offense, it's the defense, it's the special teams, it's you got to be in tune with player personnel, scheduling, practice, it's everything. So McDaniels has proved. He went over there to Denver. He was a flop there. He goes back. He puts his tail between his legs, go back to New England. Tempted to take an Indianapolis job or whatever it was, I think, and backed out of it the last second. Yes, and then all of a sudden now we want, the Raiders think, we're going to turn this dude into – he has shown is that the next team that gives him a head coaching job, I'm personally going to denounce them, whoever they are. Stupid is as stupid does. That's what my man Ford said. Man. So enough said on McDaniels. This should be his last opportunity. We've seen, you had to take the brunt of it because it's your team. Anybody after him or after this that hires him, like I said, he's a great coordinator. Go back, coach offense. That's it. We don't need to see this again. As far as the business side of things, Jay, like when you have GMs and coaches in and out and stuff like that, we've seen this in the business world too, right, bro?
Yeah.
How many times owner of a company, and it's not, hey, this quarter's bad, and every 3 years or so he's gonna fire this sales director to bring another one in, right? And what does that sales director do? He has, I do this, how I do things. So he wipes the whole sales team out. Everybody's gone. He goes and hires these newbies or whatever he likes, right? 2 or 3 years later, numbers are still tanking, because what happens normally, they come in and there's a shot because everybody got to be on their point on the P's and Q's because new personnel, and it's like a little bit of shot of adrenaline everybody get. And all of a sudden, after half a year or whatever, everything turns to crap again. This guy isn't as good as we thought. The numbers are bad. Hey, 3 years down the road, what do they do? Yeah, I just fired such and such. We're going to go in a new direction. And what does the new sales director do? He comes in, or her, and we want a whole new team. Well, this is our new philosophy. We're going to make changes here. And it's just a revolving door of bad, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the NFL. Why some organizations, and Jay, we always talk about it. It all starts at the top, bro.
Yeah, man.
Your boy, your owner at Davis, he's not his daddy. He is not his daddy. And he's making poor decisions, doesn't want to spend money, one of the cheapest dudes in the league, and primarily because
I think they're cash poor. The Raiders are cash poor. They're not. He's not a billionaire. Yeah. So he has to get all these different partners to come in and chip in and do all these different things and and sell pieces of himself here, sell pieces of himself there. So he doesn't have as much. Just because your name you're an owner of an NFL team doesn't always mean that you have the biggest amount of money or free flowing cash.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was going to say, because his money isn't like Jerry Jones' money. And all owners are not equal.
They look at him and say they're looking at him like he's small.
You ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
You ever watch when Cuban, because Cuban's a billionaire with B, when you have the millionaires on there sitting next to him, and when he decides he wants something, he's like, well, he throws his weight around because my bank is bigger than yours, and his brand is bigger than yours. So sometimes, you see the other ones, they're like, and they really want it, and Mark is sitting there, and he'll literally say, hey, this is my offer. Take it or leave it. You got 5 seconds. And people are like, yeah, we'll take it, because they know rolling with Mark is not like rolling with, this one or that one. And it's the same thing with Davis. He doesn't have that. His money isn't like that. Yeah. And you can also tell he's not a good businessman either. He makes bad hires. Let me ask you a question, Jay. When they had to fire Gruden a bit ago, right?
Yeah.
And the special teams coordinator was there. I can't remember his name. He took over, and he was doing a great job.
Yep.
The players were rolling with him, and they were like, "This is our dude. We need But because he wasn't a bit flashy name, and we got to go find somebody. And what did he do? He just kicked that dude to the curb. Somebody smart would have said, "Look, let's go 2 years. 2-3 years. Let's roll and see how you do. The players obviously like you. You're great." But he made bad decisions. And it all starts at the top, man. And those just fester, and they continue to now, who gives somebody, a coach, a 10-year deal? Anyway, those are the type of stupid decisions, like with Gruden.
Somebody said, you coming in thinking, okay, if I can try to get 5. And he says, all right, well, how about 10 at $100 million? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get paid as long as I don't say anything stupid. I'm gonna get my money. Yeah, man. That's how I go, man. Yeah. All right. So Easy Sports Talk Show. He is Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. So now let's leave with this. Got to pull up my thing. I forgot. Okay. All right. The one thing that upset me. We do our thing on the entrepreneurial side of things. We try to dibble and dab and do things. So it's about free market. We want to if you want to move, then move. As Ludacris said, when I move, you move just like that. But if you sign a contract, man, or if you said stupid is a stupid dud just a little bit ago. Harden says now Daryl Morey kind of made this bet as well, but Harden comes in when he opts into his contract and says, "Nah, I want to trade me. I'm not playing for y'all. Trade me. And this is the only team I want to go to." And I'm thinking, nah, you can't do it just on GP. You can't do that. He got traded. to where? The Clippers, where he wanted to go to. I just wanted your thoughts because I was the thing that, and I'm not even so, because it doesn't impact my life, but the thing that annoyed me was that he got what he wanted. You could have just saved yourself a lot of time and a lot of frustration and just let him go if you was going to let him go, because otherwise I would have just let him sit on the bench. I know it would have been shooting myself in the foot, but I'm telling you, the 76ers are not championship material any more than they were if he would have just been sitting on the bench. So I don't think that they put themselves in this great position. Just want your thoughts.
Jay, when I was young and, playing ball and running around dating a bunch of women and stuff like that, every now and then I'd run into a woman, and this is long time.
Right.
And I'd run into a woman and she'd have a child or two, however many it was. And I'd run into a woman who had one of those spoiled brat kids. And I love kids. I hate spoiled brat kids that get everything they want. And mommy's going to appease them and this and that and the other thing. That was a deal breaker for me. Spoiled brat kids. You know what they turn into? They turn into spoiled brat adults who think everything, they want everything in life given to them. Don't want to work for nothing. If they want it, they're going to make everybody's life hell until they get what they want, right? That's exactly what Morey did with Harden. You keep going and getting him, and every time he turns around, he's unhappy. And what do? You appease him by, okay, well, this is where you want to go. Well, I'm going to, and that's exactly what they've done. They created the monster with Harden. And now
it was not Oklahoma City, but Houston created that monster, and he's just been growing stronger ever since.
Yeah, he's going to come in out of shape. He's going to, if you don't give him what he wants, he's going to then demand a trade. He's not going to play on the team. He's going to play bad, so he can force his way out or get injured, mysterious injury, whatever it is. And it's like, so you created it. And then in the end, when you imagine the kid in the grocery store on the floor kicking and screaming because I want candy. And what do? You give him the candy and send him to the Clippers. And if I'm the Clippers, that would be like, if I'm the Clippers, I'm looking at this like, oh, hell no. How could if what he's done, how do you expect him to change his behaviors and stuff? If everybody's giving him, what's going to happen, Jay? He's going to get there. Something's going to tick him off where he is not unsatisfied with his role, his playing time, not getting enough shots. He wants to do this. And where's he going next, Jay? That's my question is, what team does he next want to go to? And who's going to be stupid enough to go get him? And then
somebody say that it's that woman that says, I can fix him. I can fix him. It's that coach, that organization. He said, just bring him over here. I'll fix him.
And the other thing I don't understand, Jay, is his diminishing skills. It's like you're not getting James Harden from 6, 7, 8 years ago. You look at him now; he's like pudgy doughboy, and dribble, step back, shoot when he wants to. Now, if you can get him to play nice for a little bit, that'll be cool. I don't expect anything other than what we've seen, the monster they've created, and I hate the fact that they gave him exactly what he wanted. You know what I'd have done, Jay? I'd have sent his ass to Detroit or somewhere like that. I'd have been like, go. Here's your reward. We're gonna send you to Orlando or something like that. I'm not sending him where he wants to go. And they look like fools. And I will tell you that the Clippers look just as foolish because of what they're going out and getting and giving up for this dude to come in and eventually do with them the way he's done everybody else. So you get what you deserve.
All right. And so you deserve more, Ed and Jay, in your life. So go to easysportstalk.com, easysportstalk.com. We do this thing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tell a friend about what we have going on. We have the YouTube page. Just search the Easy Sports Talk Show. And also we do the Believe in the Arizona Cardinals podcast. So we do that 2 times a week on Mondays and Thursdays. And of course, we have our terrestrial radio show, which is every Saturday from 1 to 3 Eastern. If you're not in one of the 98 markets that we broadcast in, then just go to sportsmapradio.com. Go ahead and click on the little play button on the upper right hand corner, or you can download the app for your Android or mobile device. And so on behalf of the one and only Ed Easy Smith, I am Javon J. Love Adams. And as we always like to say around this time, you can